All right, it's time to go over the Philadelphia Eagles and find out which of these players are going to be fantasy relevant for the 2024 season. Find out who we want to target in this offense. There's a lot of people to talk about. Let's go over the depth chart real quick. Go over here at the quarterbacks. We always see Jalen Hurts is number 1 and newly acquired Kenny Pickett is the number 2 quarterback for this offense. Kenny Pickett, pretty much irrelevant. We have to talk about Jalen Hurts. Now, while I don't think that Jalen Hurts will be where he was, I don't think he's a top 2 quarterback. I have right now in my rankings as number 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if he falls out of the top 5 in the quarterbacks this season. And hear me out, right? First off and foremost, Jason Kelce is retired at the center position, and a lot of these people that are saying, Jason Kelce, it's not that big of a deal, it's not going to really work. Listen, having a good center is the quarterback of the quarterbacks of the offense, right? So they have to get all the protections and everything out front to make sure everything is correct, right? So having the tush push, Jason Kelce was the anchor for that a lot of times. You see a lot of times when they're doing plays, Jason Kelce's saying, no, he doesn't want to do that audible. That's not going to work, and they have to change the play back. So a lot of that going on with Jason Kelce. They're going to miss him in this offense. And then again, Saquon Barkley. Why go out there and but to acquire a running back in free agency and pay him as much as they did with Saquon Barkley if they really wasn't wanting to run the ball like they used to? I mean, they've been getting these scrubs with Miles Sanders. They've been getting DeAndre Swift. All these guys rushing for 1,000 yards rushing in this offensive line, and they didn't need to go get a top tier type of guy. So I think now maybe you'll see some tush pushes maybe at the 1 yard line, but if you're at the 2, 3, or 4, something like that, you're not going to see any type of tush push down the middle. You're going to see a lot of touchdowns from Saquon Barkley into this offense. And when you take a lot of those rushing touchdowns away from Jalen Hurts, it's going to hurt his top end number. And while, yes, I still like him as a quarterback, I still think he's going to be fantasy viable. I still think he's a very good elite quarterback for fantasy football. I just don't believe he should be drafted as high as he is right now. I just think Saquon Barkley is going to take a lot of things from Jalen Hurts. And we're going to have to just wait and see how it all ends up. I just say pump the brakes a little bit on Jalen Hurts. Don't think that he's one of those top end tier guys up there with maybe your Josh Allens, Lamar Jacksons, or even, may I say, Anthony Richardson. So let's move right along here. Look at the depth chart here. Let's look at the running back position. Like I said earlier, Saquon Barkley leads that with Kenneth Gainwell, the rookie out of Clemson, Will Shipley, and Lou Nichols as well. But let's just face it, guys. This is a one-man show at the running back position. I think that Kenneth Gainwell is the number 2 running back here. I'm not worried about Will Shipley whatsoever. But the most likely who's going to get all the bell cow work, that's going to be Saquon Barkley. They paid this guy to come in here to be the man. He can't wait. He's in the division with the Giants, so I can't wait to have that first game against the Giants. He's going to go absolute nuclear, and I promise you, he will be in my DFS lineups for that week that he goes in there. But what I'm saying is I think that they're going to get a lot of carries in the goal line carries. He's going to get all the opportunities to score the touchdowns. And if you got people like Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift scoring 1,000 yards rushing, oh boy, you better buckle up and wait, because I think that Saquon Barkley is going to go absolutely nuclear in 2024. Can't wait to see what he can do. Let's move right along here at the wide receiver position. We're looking here, number 1, A.J. Brown, right? Devonta Smith. They got the newly acquired Devontae Parker in free agency, Paris Campbell as well. They got 2 rookies that I want to talk about. Johnny Wilson, 6'7" wide receiver out of Florida State, and Anaya Smith, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. 2 wide receivers that I do like. I just don't think there's going to be opportunity on this football field. We're looking about Johnny Wilson, a 6'7" monster type of guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up transitioning this guy over to the tight end position to give him some looks over there, but Dallas Goedert getting a little bit younger or older in the tooth there. So, but the main guys we're going to talk about, A.J. Brown, right? He is the man for this offense, the main go-getter, right? He is a really good friend with Jalen Hurts, and he gets his yardage, he gets his receptions, and when he doesn't, he makes sure he knows to tell Jalen Hurts, hey, yo, get me the football, right? But I know sometimes Jalen Hurts likes to spread the football around and let Devonta Smith have his games as well, but A.J. Brown is the one to have. If you had to pick one of these wide receivers, he's clearly the guy. Devonta Smith, he's one of the better number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. Clearly could be a number 1 wide receiver in many teams. He was the number 1 wide receiver for the Eagles before they acquired A.J. Brown over there from the Titans, but he gets his numbers, right? He is a very solid fantasy football player, and sometimes he outperforms A.J. Brown on a weekly basis. So you never really know who's going to be the one going off. If I had to put my money on somebody, it would definitely be A.J. Brown. Nobody else on this offense, whether it's Devontae Parker, Paris Campbell, Johnny Wilson, Anaya Smith, none of these guys interest me in fantasy football. It's all about A.J. Brown, and it's all about Devonta Smith. It's pretty plain and Jane and cut and dry on what you want. Let's move right along here at the tight end position. Dallas Goedert is what we see here with Grant Calcaterra. I just think Johnny Wilson's going to end up being that number 2 tight end role sooner rather than later. I think that's what you can probably look out for. But Dallas Dallas Goedert, right? He's got these guys in AJ Brown and Devonta Smith ahead of him in the pecking order. So he doesn't give you these nuclear type of top end type of roll numbers, but I still think that Dallas Goedert is good enough to be able to be a decent tight end for you. He's kind of the first tight end, I believe, after all of the elite tight ends that you can start to look for. So I think he's in the upper echelon of the mid-tier type of tight ends. Somebody that's not going to wow you or blow the top off of a defense, but can get you consistent enough numbers to where if you hold off on tight end and just want to grab a mid-tier type of tight end, grabbing somebody like Dallas Goedert, I think can get you some pretty good numbers, especially if you want to team them up. If you end up with like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, go ahead and grab yourself a Dallas Goedert and have a nice little three-peat, little combo there with the Philadelphia Eagles. But if I'm breaking it all down and I find out which players do I want from the Philadelphia Eagles, we're saying Jalen Hurts, absolutely. We're saying Saquon Barkley is the only running back we want from the Eagles. For the 2 wide receivers we want from the Eagles, AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. And then if you want a mid-tier type of tight end, Dallas Goedert, somebody you can definitely have. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button on this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, guys. We're pumping out videos each and every week, all the way leading up into your fantasy football drafts to help you best dominate your leagues and ultimately win a championship. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.